All right, let's talk about AI and our jobs. You see the headlines everywhere, right? This idea that AI is coming to take them all. But what if that's completely the wrong way to think about it? Today, we're going to flip that script and explore a huge shift from being operators who just do tasks to becoming orchestrators who manage entire systems.
This is it. This is the big question that hangs over every conversation about artificial intelligence. You hear it everywhere. It's the nagging fear in the back of our minds. But I think there's a much better, way more useful question we should be asking ourselves.
So to get there, first we have to really dig into the fear itself. I mean, it's powerful, it's definitely widespread, and honestly, it's all based on a pretty simple and maybe, just maybe, a flawed way of thinking.
This is the logic that gets us all worried. It's a simple equation, right? If a machine can do a specific task, then the person who used to do that task, well, they're out of a job. It seems to make perfect sense, but it makes one giant mistake. It confuses one little task with the whole idea of work.
And this right here, this is the key. Work isn't just about doing the same thing over and over. It's so much more. It's about strategy, about coordination, about putting all the pieces together. The idea that AI will just swap in and replace us misses that entire, much bigger picture.
You know, if we want to get a real handle on what's happening now, the best thing to do is to look back. Because it turns out technology completely changing our jobs isn't some new, scary story. It's a pattern that's repeated itself over and over again.
Now look at this, there's a clear pattern here. Every time a huge new technology comes along, some jobs get automated, sure. But then a whole new layer of work gets created on top to manage the new system. The agricultural revolution meant we needed fewer farmers, yeah, but suddenly we needed traders and people to handle logistics. The industrial revolution created managers and engineers. The AI era, it's just the next step in that same dance.
And get this, there's actually a name for this whole phenomenon. It's called the Jevons paradox. Way back in the 1800s, this economist William Stanley Jevons, he noticed something weird. As they made coal engines more efficient, people didn't use less coal, they used way more of it. Why? Because it suddenly became so cheap and efficient that they could use it for all sorts of new things, and the whole system just exploded.
And that is the big takeaway right there. Making something cheaper and more efficient, whether it's burning coal or, in our case, executing a task, it doesn't make things smaller. It makes them bigger. It leads to more activity, more complexity, more things to manage.
Okay, so this is where it all comes together. This is the core idea. If AI is going to handle the how, the actual doing of the tasks, then our role has to shift. It's moving to defining the what and the why. We're moving from execution to orchestration.
So let's just think about this for a second. In any system, when something suddenly becomes super cheap and easy to get, what becomes the really valuable thing? The value shifts to whatever the new bottleneck is. So if AI is making task execution practically free, what's the new scarce resource?
The answer is orchestration. The how is becoming a commodity. It's everywhere. But orchestration, that big picture strategic thinking, knowing how to put all the pieces together, that is becoming incredibly rare. And because of that, it's becoming incredibly valuable. Okay, look at this. This visual from the source really nails it. See that phrase right there? Skills to move upstack. Think of upstack as moving from the how to the why. As the machines handle all the basic stuff down at the bottom, human value doesn't just vanish. Nope, it gets pushed up into higher level work like design, strategy, and coordination.
So what does this actually mean for your career, or for someone who's just starting out today? Well, it means the very definition of a basic skill is changing, like right now, as we speak.
You know how it used to work, right? The classic entry-level job. You'd come in and learn the ropes by doing the most basic, repetitive tasks over and over and over. That's how you learn the system. Well, AI is basically eating those starter tasks for lunch. That whole traditional learning path is just getting squeezed.
And this slide just lays it all out. That old path, it's pretty much disappearing now. Now the question isn't, can you do this task? The question is, can you define the goal? Can you figure out the trade-offs? These orchestration skills, they're not something you learn mid-career anymore. They're the new price of admission. They're needed from day one.
So what are these new foundational skills? Well, here they are. It's not about knowing a specific piece of software. It's about systems thinking, strategic reasoning, and this one is huge, supervising probabilistic systems. That just means AI doesn't always give you one perfect answer. It gives you a range of possibilities.
and it takes human judgment to sort through that and figure out what to do. These are the new fundamentals.
So as we pull all this together, this whole reframing, from just doing tasks to orchestrating systems, it leads us to a much, much deeper question about what's next.
We started this whole conversation with that all-too-common narrative of fear. But as we've seen, the real story isn't about things just getting eliminated. It's a story about transformation. The key takeaway here is that we're moving away from a world of job elimination
And into a world of role elevation. As AI makes execution cheap and easy at the bottom, our unique human value, what makes us different, it's getting pushed upward. It's being elevated into the world of design, of governance, of big picture thinking.
And that leads us to the real question we should be asking. If machines are doing the producing and we're doing the coordinating, who actually gets the value that's created? As the source puts it so well, the ultimate question isn't about employment, it's about ownership. And that's something we all need to start thinking about.